I'm going to try to get my point across as quickly as possible because I have business to attend to. So, first, I would like to say greetings to everyone, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for tuning in. I would also like to say that I hope that this week and this year is going good for you because ultimately we all want to experience success. Now, in this video, I am not going to denigrate anyone. I'm not denigrating women. I'm not denigrating guys. I'm just giving my perspective on what I see in totality. And I titled this video why dating in why it's probably why you probably not going to enjoy dating, especially in the United States. First of all, to understand the culture of the United States, I believe you have to live here and probably have lived here for more than a decade. I think if you just come here for a weekend, you come here for a year or for an exchange student program, you're probably not going to understand what I'm trying to say because you've only experienced it on a limited time. But if you lived here for a prolonged period of time, you may have started to notice certain patterns. What are these patterns? Relationships are not taken seriously in the United States, largely by both genders, males and females. For example, one of our forms of entertainment is paternity court and divorce courts. They have several different judges you could turn on the television and watch this. So when divorce and paternity court and things of that nature, like in the 90s, Jerry Springer, when these things are a source of entertainment, it actually reflects the mind state of the public, right? And art imitates life, life reflects itself in the art. So when this is the art that's consumed, you could just imagine the level of relationships. Now, I'm not speaking on this as if I'm above it because I'm in it too, right? So, okay, we're living in a time, guys, where human interaction is becoming more scarce. It's becoming rare to have real human experience. People now have pen pals, online friends. People have uh people that they so-called date on the internet that they never even met. Having a real experience is becoming rare and it's not just on the dating spectrum, it's in other aspects of life also. For example, now in the music industry, you have robots or AI generated stars emerging, right? You have producers like Timbaland and I'm sure others now curating these experiences where we're not getting the real thing. So in the real world now, human contact, human relationships is becoming very scarce and it's happening before our eyes. I think in the United States, the main reason why dating is so difficult is because the structure of the United States, the financial structure of the United States doesn't support relationships. When we talk about individualism, I don't think we really realize that when we talk about the individualism, we're actually talking about the individual being disconnected from a group, the individual being disconnected from friends or family. You are no longer part of a group. You're no longer part of a tribe. You are an individual. And that's it's pros and cons to that. One of the biggest cons is the lack of support, the lack of communication, the lack of feeling wanted, feeling like you belong. So then people try to replace the tribe or the family unit with external things, money, cars. Now we have internet validation. How many people watch your streams? How many people like your video? How many people commented? How many people agree with your perspective? So all of this is how it's affecting us, but then it affects dating. Okay, guys, in the United States, we have a work life imbalance. Most people in the United States, they go to high school, they attend college or trade school, they enter the workforce. Okay, after this is done, what ends up happening is you got to ask yourself, when do you get time to actually meet? and explore and meet people that's like-minded like you at your job. Come on, be for real. So most people don't actually in modern times have the freedom to really explore. And you might think that they do, and even people that's dating think that they do, but they really don't. Because can you take off for 2 months from your job to just live your life? Probably not, right? You're not going to have a job. So the infrastructure is dependent on you not having family and you being an individual. And the people who run the system, they capitalize off this. Okay. Another thing is online is a gender war, or we can say it's a gender confusion being pushed. And I'm not just talking about like what goes on in the bedroom. I'm just talking about us communicating with one another, right? We have these curated voices online and saying men are like this, women are like this, when there should be a point in the middle where we complement one another, right? A yin and a yang, a frequency that we could tap into. And largely, I don't see that. In the United States, everything is very polarizing. You have the left and the right, you have black versus white, this and that. And when we live in such a binary society, we don't have cohesion, we don't have harmony. I've actually almost completely come to the conclusion that perhaps we can't have families in the United States. And listen, I'm not saying this as I'm anti-America because I believe in the Constitution. I believe that people should have freedom of speech, should be treated properly. I'm from this country. My grandfather, my father, they served this country honorably. My uncle served this country honorably. I have cousins in the military right now. So I'm not anti-America when I speak on the problems that exist in America. I'm just simply an American expressing my freedom of speech and my perspective. So when it comes to relationships, you guys, think about this. Divorce is almost 50%, you can say, right? Then we're in a generation now where most of my friend groups, I'm 30 years old, most people in my friend groups are childless, right? They don't have any kids. And I'm talking about let's just speak on the guys I know, guys who have financial stability, homeowners. I know some guys that's not homeowners, but they do well in life. You know, they have stability, they have education, either went to the military or went to college. And a lot of guys don't have any kids that's in their 30s right now. I want you to think about this for a second. So I'm not, and we see a big push on people being anti-kids, anti-wife, anti-husband. What that's really saying is it's anti-family. Now, in my perspective, I'm kind of traditional in the sense that I don't see anything wrong with being fruitful and multiplying. I don't see anything wrong with bringing life into the world and celebrating it. I don't see anything wrong with having a significant other. I don't see anything wrong with exploring the reality of love out loud, right? Some people fear doing that because I understand jealousy, envy, but we're in a situation now where the younger generations don't even understand what a relationship is. The other day, I asked a question while I was online and I was live chatting with other people that was coming onto my live. I was on TikTok and I asked the question, when does a relationship start? When does a relationship start? And most adults said that the relationship starts when they feel emotional feelings for a person. And I said, so that's when the relationship starts? Yeah, when I say she's mine and he's mine, that's when the relationship starts. My perspective, as I've gotten a little bit older, is that the relationship starts when you enter the bedroom with the person. Soon as you decide that you're going to give this person access to your body, that's really when the relationship starts. But see, we've been trained to not view that as when the relationship starts. So now people are in relationships, but they not claiming it as a relationship. They're not. So when does a relationship start? When you enter the bedroom. You know how many adults would say that's not when the relationship starts. The relationship starts when I am emotionally invested. A lot of people believe this, but then let's look at the consequences of this. We have children being born into the world where their parents are not in a union, their parents are not in relationships. We have almost completely destroyed the act of being intimate with a person, and we treat it as is recreational, right? And when you're young, I get it, but the older you get, you see people in their 40s and 50s still treating intimacy as though it's a game or it's a joke, thinking that it's recreational. So that lets me know that on the maturity level, we're not where we should be. And I would say that when it comes to relationships, you're probably not going to experience it as it should be, because due to the regime and the world as it is, none of us is as we should be. We are all not as we should be. We should all be 10 times better than what we are. We should be in harmony with the planet and with ourselves, but most of us don't have um adequate education, adequate health care, adequate standard of living. We are kept at a point where year to year, guys, think about this. People are working day in and day out to have their most basic needs met: food, shelter, water, clothing. How can you have a relationship if you're always in survival mode? Even if you go by Maslow's hierarchy of needs, relationships is higher up on the pyramid. First on the is the survival level: food, shelter, water, clothing, safety. So a person has to have all of those needs met before they can even engage in the idea of being in a romantic relationship. And that's the point that I'm making. Most people are stuck in survival mode, and it's due to the economic design mostly. As a result, they can't have a relationship. How can you have a relationship and there's no system to support the relationship? How can you have a union with another person and there's no system in place? Like we always say, "Oh, I'm coming." When I gotta end my live, guys, but we'll finish this later.